What are the best attacks to use in 2022 for Town Hall 13? It's pretty difficult because there's a lot of armies, but let's give you 3 options that I consider some of the most powerful and the ones that you need to use. First and foremost, let's talk about the Yeti Witch attack. This is a really easy attack at Town Hall 13, and it's also the only attack that I've seen to 3-star a lot of bases and win a clan war for one clan. That is how strong it can be. To start off, Earthquake spell placement. If you can reach the Town Hall with the log launcher, then use the Earthquake spells in a line. However, if you cannot, you may want to use them to have some breathing room in the core of the base. This opens up a larger area of the base for your troops, making it slightly easier for you to move through. Then you can break my one traditional rule in the last couple of tip videos I've made, which is just sending a wall of troops in, placing down your heroes and your log launcher in the middle, and you're all set. That pretty much is how you are creating the funnel with this. It's just pure spam. Now, in terms of this, you should always try to go for the Eagle Artillery first. Eagle Artillery is going to be your biggest threat, especially in any type of witch attack. So you do need to prioritize it, alongside, of course, the scatter shots. Try to use the Grand Warden ability to protect as many troops and your log launcher as possible. That allows you to easily move through and still continue to work through. You should use an early rage spell. That way you can provide a lot of support for any Yetis and witches that are within the base that are supporting your log launcher. You can use a wall wrecker instead. While it may not have the HP decay, which is very good, it doesn't necessarily have the benefits of the log launcher being able to do damage from a distance. So you do need to consider those things while you are using this army. Typically, in most cases, you are looking for bases with 2 single infernos to 3 single infernos. Overall, as long as you've got the Yetis from that log launcher or wall wrecker to the town hall, you should be completely fine. You can even have your royal champion go from one side of the base in order to help clear a given area. And you can even use the other rage spell towards the back end to remove the town hall, since you are always attacking away from it. Other than that, this will give you the most success and will give you the most amount of the witches still alive. However, if you don't necessarily have or want to use the Yeti Witch, you can always run a Bow Witch instead, which is still relatively strong, yet a little weaker than this army. This way you can get more 3 stars using this really strong and easy army. Queen George Hybrid is one of the strongest attacks in the game, and Town Hall 13 is absolutely no exception. Pretty much the same rules apply to any time that I mention this. Funneling. Funneling is a really important thing, like I mentioned in my previous 2 tip videos. You want to make sure that you're funneling. That way you are able to enter into the right given area that you want to go in for. In this case, using a baby dragon and using a Yeti on either side to control the queen to move in. And in this case, you don't really need wall breakers because the wall segments were open. So sometimes if you notice this, you may want to take advantage of it. Sometimes as well, you could use the Barbarian King to go in for the Town Hall. Unless he gets distracted and doesn't remove the Town Hall, you do need to be very wary of this. This is or was a high risk, high reward. So it is a bit more of a mistake in terms of not using that second poison, but it is a fairly difficult high risk, high reward situation. Dealing with the enemy CC and the queen, you may want to use a rage spell. This will keep your queen alive and will allow you to make sure that you're getting the right value and keeping her alive. In terms of this attack, the attacker saves it by removing the town hall with the RC and the siege barrack. This then creates the pathing for the hybrid straight through the middle. Now this may or may not work depending on the inferno going down or not. So in this case, using a heal at the beginning really does help the hogs and miners a lot as you're starting to work yourself through. And in this case, the RC is still alive to where she can remove the inferno, giving good pathing. You can still save the Grand Warden ability, sometimes though the Grand Warden can be a bit dumb and go for the wrong thing, but still focusing on using the Grand Warden ability for the miners and the hogs will help a ton. You should try to at least use any of your leftover heal spells either in the core or after your Grand Warden ability. This gives you a lot of momentum and good use, so that way you can easily move yourself across. Try not to use both heals early, because then you could end up getting a fail all because the miners died out because you didn't have a heal and you just had your Grand Warden ability. Sometimes you could have healers on your miners and hogs, but sometimes they might die because of an air defense, so you do need to pay very close attention to those things. But sometimes you will still be able to get it done because your miners were able to get through. In this case, he brought more miners over hog riders. Sometimes I would actually bring a bit more hog riders because they can provide a lot more support than just 10. So you do want to consider those things while you're using this, but you shouldn't have to worry about cleanup too much, especially since you have a siege barrack. This is why it is still a really strong army, but you just want to learn from these mistakes. Zaplalo has been through a lot, but still is considered one of the strongest attacks in the game. Ever since being completely nerfed, since you couldn't zap out the CC, and we all know how great that meta was. The biggest thing that you really need to think about if you're going to be using the Zaplalo nowadays is looking at the Queen's placement. This now gives you more freedom of your lightning spells. If the Queen is by value, such as an Inferno, or by something like Expose and a Scattershot, you may want to consider using your lightning spells on her. 7 lightning is enough to remove her, and 1 earthquake is enough to remove the buildings around her. This is why it can be incredibly good and flexible. If at any point the enemy Archer Queen is not near any good value, you can just use it on the Inferno or use it on a set group of defenses. It'll make it easier for you to use this army more effectively. Your next major goal is to remove one of 2 other heroes, mainly the Royal Champion. So you should always look at where she is because the Sui hero is aimed to remove a given area. So using ice golems to provide some tankage is incredibly important. So what this allows you to do is clear a given area and cut down a part of the base, basically creating a wedge in there. And you want to make sure that you are able to remove the enemy heroes to make it a little bit easier for you to drive through. Even dealing with the enemy CC isn't a big issue with the Sui hero. You can then prioritize using your Lavaloon portion. Now, typically, this is not how you do Lavaloon. You don't just spam a lot of your balloons, but if you are new to Lavaloon, this can still work. And then having a good group of them moving in. This allows you to have enough momentum as you start to drive into the base. Now, in case the town hall is directly in the center of the base with nothing there, you may want to use the battle blimp to remove it. The main reason here is because the base is a ring base. You do not want anything to go into the core, but you want everything to go around it, so more of a C shape. So that way what you're able to do is then allow something like Sneaky Goblins to remove it, and then have the balloons working themselves across. Haste spells should be used in order to get to other defenses like the multi-infernos, and also to stuff like air defenses, and just to get there a little bit quicker. You can also have your Royal Champion move in with your Lavaloon and get a lot more value, and you can still continue to push through with her ability as well. You can even bring minions to help clean up, or any other troops like baby dragons, which makes it a lot easier for you to get a 3-star without getting a time fail. Alongside that, if you haven't removed the enemy queen or the enemy royal champion, then I would highly recommend Headhunters while you're sending the Lavaloon in with a Grand Warden ability, which should allow you to guarantee that hero going down. Hopefully this video is helpful in terms of trying out these 3 really strong armies. Consider subscribing and ringing the bell, and also consider using my creator code, CODECORRUPT, before purchasing the Gold Pass or any special offers. Consider checking out my previous video right here, all on 5 tips that you'll need to improve your attacks, and check out the playlist on all of my Town Hall 13 stuff, and I'll catch you in the next video. Corrupt, signing out.